This video looks at the Ravens passing game versus the Raiders in 2018. It's Lamar Jackson's second start. I don't show every throw. There's some stuff that wasn't perfect that I don't show, and then there's some really great stuff that I don't touch on. I think in general he held up pretty well. Threw the ball well, read the field well, and appeared really comfortable out there for a guy in his second start. One thing I thought about this game is that the Ravens did a nice job getting receivers in space at times. We'll look at a little bit in this video how they exploited certain coverages. One thing I don't talk about in this, but I did notice, is there are opportunities for the Ravens to run option type routes downfield. And it's not something they did, but it's something I would expect to see a lot more of, have sight adjustments and options built into routes. And once you build that into the offense, you enable the quarterback and the receiver to kind of throw and run to space. And I think it's a recipe for big plays, big explosive plays. And like I said, I think we'll see that sort of thing a lot more in 2019. This is a first quarter play versus the Raiders. It's 2nd and 10. Ravens in empty with 3-by-2 to the field, and this linebacker's job is to wall the number 3 receiver. Cannot let him cross his face, but that is exactly what happens. John just jukes him inside, and Lamar makes a nice throw over the head of this linebacker. Pretty much hits John right on the money. Good little run after the catch. Watch Lamar's eyes. You see him turn left there, kind of holds that linebacker. Nice throw to John across the middle. This is a play the Ravens ran a lot with both tight ends releasing to the opposite side of the field on these crosses. You can see it appears the spacing is not ideal here. Makes this not an easy read for Lamar, but it's really the timing. It's the interval that they release, and you see Hayden Hurst gets hung up a little bit more, just selling a block there, and he gets hung up. And then the read becomes kind of a cluttered one. There's still some space out there he might want to hit mark on, but the other thing is the Ravens got a lot of criticism for Lamar's first start, how much he ran the football. You want him to run here, and I think that was probably going through his head. This is his second start. It's first down, so yeah, you want him taking off there and getting whatever yards he can get. This is a very well drawn up play. Hurst is really good at these sorts of plays. The intent here is to isolate one defender, put him in a bind, and make him have to make a decision one way or the other, and then exploit that decision. In this case, that's the end man. Hurst does a good job here kind of selling this block. You see him turn inside as if to seal, and then pivot, work his way outside. The Ravens are selling a run to that side. They pull, I guess it's Alex Lewis, and there's some kind of mess up here. I'm not sure who's responsible, but this guy's not supposed to come free. In any case, you can see they've got this guy in a bind. It would be a bigger bind still if this guy had been taken care of, but Lamar does a nice job here, finds Hayden with this little toss, and Hayden makes a nice grab of it. This is a good indication here of how confident and competent a thrower of the football he is when he's given time. Just a really nice job in protection. It's just got to be more consistent. You see Lewis do a nice job one-on-one here. Just a really good job protecting Lamar. Lamar just throws the ball right on the money to this kind of curious corner curl that Crabtree runs here. I say curious because you see that dig coming across right into it. So I'm not sure how on script that was, but Lamar reads it. And again, a lot of that is protection. See how comfortable he is in his drop. waiting on these routes to develop. I think he's waiting on Crabtree. You see a little bit of a look to the flat there. I'm a big proponent of these against flow sort of throws or backside throws. You can see they boot Lamar out. Real heavy on that side too if you look at the formation. This here is really strongly suggesting run to that side. And they even pull Orlando. I like how they use Hayden Hurst this way a lot. Hayden's going to get caught up in this mess for a little bit, and then he's going to leak out backside. If you watch it from Lamar, the end zone perspective here, you can see him tuck the football as if he's going to run. What I like about where they ran this play is he doesn't get trapped in by the sideline. So clearly when they're running this play, they're running it to the field initially, and then when he cuts back against, he's got room to make things happen, with his legs if Hayden isn't open. But Hurst is used this way a lot, and Lamar just puts a perfect ball right on him, and they pick up a first down. Really nice throw. Watch this throw. What we want to watch. You see the deep route there runs right into double coverage, and the Raiders just drop into zone and easily kind of handle that. Just this little stop by, I guess that's Crabtree. Just not a lot going on up here to be inspired by. And that's really Lamar's first look, or that's where his eyes go first. But I want to look over here to the away from that strength. And I want Lamar to see this linebacker come up. I want him to see this outside leverage. I want him to be aware of this blitzer coming. So the space that's created by all three of those things, and Nick's kind of be aware of Nick's in route here across the middle. And the funny thing is he is. And there's another thing we want to talk about here in the pocket. You can see, watch, he comes off those three, turns his eyes to the middle of the field, and he's got Nick wide open coming across. Now, what we want to look at is from another perspective here. You see Lamar's eyes go to the right. He's either looking that away or those are his first reads. And then you can see Nick clearing. You can see the outside leverage. Pretty good job picking up the pass rush there by the running back. And he's got him. So he hesitates. And I think sometimes what's going on with Lamar, he's going to have to stay in and take a hit. And I think that's what he does here. I think he sees and feels this pressure. And instead of kind of standing in the pocket, delivering the football across the middle, he takes off. He may not even have been hit there, but he feels that. You can see the pocket collapsing on him because he's got a little bit of time right there to get rid of the football and throw it to a space. He probably wouldn't even have been hit. But I think if he needs to stand in the pocket and take a hit, unfortunately, that's what he needs to do more. And sometimes you'll see him bail out like he does here. It's a good example of both he and Boyle being on the same page here and reading this coverage. Boyle runs away from it, and Lamar sees it right away. He sees that before the ball is snapped. Both of them do. That's likely going to be open. He just kind of reads that linebacker inside along with this coverage here. He sees that coverage go away instantly, and there's no way this linebacker will be able to make up that kind of ground. Both of them see that. The Raiders came out in press quarters coverage on two plays, back-to-back plays in the third quarter, and we're going to look at how the Ravens exploited that. Quickly, the safety, once he reads pass, has his eyes on the number 2 receiver, and if 2 were to go vertical, he picks him up man-to-man. If 2 runs an out, the safety's eyes are immediately going to go to the number 1 receiver. And he's going to rob this curl dig, get under it. The nickel here, he's playing inside of the number 2 receiver. That's to protect against run. That's a run fit thing. But what it does is it makes the Raiders really susceptible here in the flat because his job is to carry number 2 to the flat. But more importantly, he's in charge of all of this. He's got to make sure if 2 runs a wheel here or any kind of out and up, that's his job. And you can see a little bit of a pause kind of in how he's going to approach what appears to be a slight rub here. So you can see Willie's open at this point. On the other side, you have very similar coverage, but in this particular side, the number 2 receiver is attached to the line of scrimmage, and so you can have an easier time with this defender getting out. He's still responsible for the flat, and what you'll see is that the Ravens release the running back. He sees both of those receivers, passes off the number 2, goes outside to protect the flat, and then Ty Montgomery breaks inside, and the Ravens pick up 6 yards. You can see the number 2 receiver on this side is detached, and that the linebacker charged with that is a little farther out. And he's probably going to have a better time here against the flat as a result. He's basically a C-gap defender against the run here, so once he reads pass, see him carry Nick. He passes Nick off, and that's something the Ravens saw on tape, I'm sure. It's how much depth the route has to take on vertically before they determine it to be a vertical and not something outbreaking. Nick does a good job selling that, kind of pumping his arms, getting to a certain depth, and then he does sort of a soft curl here back, and Lamar hits him in stride. Nick does a great job after the catch. See him drive there to pick up that first down. The Ravens are in a position to go deep here with the safety in the middle of the field. Willie Snead's route holds him, the safety, and Brown makes a nice move off the line. Good ball, really nice ball from Lamar. Perfectly placed. Pretty good little throw on this slant down by the goal line here. Boyle does a good job coming over and getting this edge. Great block. You see Lamar look off just a little bit and then come back to the slant. Play fake. Watch his eyes to the right, or to his left rather. A little bit of separation. Makes a throw here that clears this linebacker. It's a good throw. And you're going to see John Brown kind of short arm this here. At least that's the way it appears to me. He could have made a play for that football. Really tight window. See that? See him pull back just a little. This is a rookie move here. Lamar stares this throw down completely. He doesn't account for a linebacker underneath. And as a consequence, he gets picked. You can see a little bit better over here. And just watch his eyes the entire time. He sort of follows this in-breaking route. And they get him.